happy Mother's Day to all you mothers, future mothers, people who mother others from your heart. I am sitting here today with the remarkable, incredible, inspiring Kari Bahour. Did I say it right? Did I screw it up?
No, perfect.
Again, A+ on Mother's Day. Hooray. Well, Kari is very special for a lot of reasons, but she is our featured woman today, the day where we honor all mothers, because of both her professional success, her resiliency, and her passion for both her nonprofit work and for the work she does for her children and for children all over our region. But before I try and tell Kari's story, which I could never do as well as she does, why don't we do this? Hello, Kari. Please tell everybody who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy Mother's Day to all your viewers and to you as well. I appreciate the time to do this. A little bit about me. I was a single parent, a very young single parent, started at the age of 20 years old. By the time I was 26 years old, I found myself divorced with 3 young children, ages 1, 2, and 5. Dropped out of college, trying to figure out life as, you know, between feeding and providing for my children and the path that I was going to take to do that. I was inspired to become a drowning prevention specialist when my son, at the time, he was 16 months old, and this was 23 years ago. He was found in a pool in the month of February, face down, unconscious, and not breathing. And he was found by a friend of mine. I had a newborn at the time as well, and I was attending to her. My son we didn't realize that the gate was not, the door that protects from the patio to the pool was not completely latched. And he found his way in a body of water. And thankfully, we're not exactly sure why or how, but my friend, as I was nursing my newborn, my friend just happens to look out the window for no apparent reason. And I hear her say, "What's that?" And then immediately yells out this horrific scream that nobody wants to hear, because it's one of those horrifying screams you hear in horror movies. And she darts outside. And at that point, I knew it was really bad. I didn't hear crying. I knew it was my son because I knew he was in the patio area where they have like a little playroom, but I didn't double check to make sure that door was securely latched. And I just knew something was something very bad happened. And I grabbed my newborn at the same time. Before I even went outside, I grabbed the phone and start calling 911. By the time I get out to the patio, my friend had already pulled him out of the water, just screaming. And he had a jacket, jeans, shoes. It was winter, it was February, and it was really cold. He was just completely blue and not responding. And all she kept doing is screaming. And I'm on the phone with the operator trying to explain what happened. And it was just like a out of body experience. And I'm like, well, he's not breathing. When she's pulling him hard to take off the clothes. At the time, she's thinking he's blue because he was so cold. And maybe I did too. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I was just in shock at what I was watching. And then moments later, it hit me that he's dead. He's not crying. He's not moving. He's completely blue. And I just start grabbing him and screaming to literally wake up is what I kept saying. And before I knew it, the paramedics showed up. They just showed up right over my head. I didn't see him walk in. They just showed up. And right as they showed up, he started coughing up water. And so we didn't do CPR. We were in shock. People think you know what to do, but when you're just in shock, you don't know what to do. So you're just trying to make sense of it all, what you're observing. But nonetheless, he was admitted to, at the time, was All Children's Hospital, and he was observed for 24 hours to make sure he didn't aspirate water, because we weren't exactly sure how long he was unconscious for. It was just moments, and it was quiet. And I had a newborn I was attending to. So yeah, that changed my life, changed my world. And I decided that if this could happen to me, it can happen to anyone. And then I was like, well, then I'm at that point is when I learned that drowning is the #1 cause of accidental death among children under age 4. And I was like, well, if that's the case, why doesn't anybody tell me? Why do you not hear about it? Why do you not know about it? You hear about poison control, you hear about car seats, you hear about so many other things, but nobody ever tells you that drowning is the #1 cause of accidental death among children. And that changed my world. That changed, like, I didn't know it was silent. You just didn't know. And at the time I was in my early 20s, I just didn't know. I mean, I knew the basics of safety, but you just automatically expect the child to cry or splash or call out for help. The door to the pool was shut, but it wasn't latched. So from a distance, it looked shut. And I just thought I was on my way out there anyway. I just needed to nurse the baby or change her. I couldn't remember exactly which, but I knew I was going to be right there in just a minute or two, but it only takes seconds. So none of us can keep our eyes on our children for 24 hours a day. I mean, it takes a momentary lapse in adult supervision for something like this to happen. And thankfully we were spared and he was okay and he was discharged the next day. But at that point I decided that, I would hear more about that on the news, that this child drowned. It just became a constant feature on almost every station. It was in the summer and it was like, well, why didn't my kid die? What makes me so special? Why was he so special? We didn't do CPR. I'm like, I think I just need to do more to get it out there and prevent these families from experiencing tragedy that I could have very well experienced.
First of all, I mean, thank you for sharing such a powerful story and to inspire parents that, this is a wonder. You provide something that everybody needs. It's not, it's not something that is, I was a real hippy dippy organic food parent.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessary. It's a nice plus as I'm grinding my baby food.
Right.
But making sure our children can survive, especially not just with the risks, but in the state of Florida on vacations in unfamiliar environments. I mean, like you said, it takes no time at all. And so, but I do think that the best missions come sometimes out of our pain points, right? So
right.
like it's almost like, the higher power, the goddess, the god, whatever it is, kept speaking through you, as you start hearing it everywhere.
Right.
And now you've built this incredibly successful business, but most importantly, saving lives in the process. I mean, that has to be so rewarding.
It is absolutely the most rewarding thing I've ever done. It's far more than a paycheck. To be able to watch the child that you've taken has absolutely zero skills and would have had an absolute definite drowning situation had he gotten into a pool or body of water, to being able to transforming them with some skill where they can swim a short distance, roll on their back, float, aquatic problem solve different scenarios. And it's truly the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I've been doing it for 21 years strong. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the community who trusts me with their children. They've allowed my business to grow and thrive as well. But I think more than anything, the passion I have for what I do is truly what has helped and was a driving force behind the success of my business. Again, 21 years and thousands of families served in Hillsborough County. So I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Wow. I think the families are the ones who are truly grateful because, I mean, again, and this is, you're in demand. So when you see Kari's contact information, as you may have put in a new pool, as you may think about going to community pools or vacations, now is the time to take action because it's a process and we gotta get to it. It's May, folks, and
Yeah.
it's it can't be soon enough.
It can't be soon enough. And just the constant awareness that people need to know drowning is silent. You're not going to hear a child call out for help. You're not going to hear a bang, a splash, a scream. And that doesn't take hours of lapse of supervision. It literally takes the moments. And all children are curious. I mean, all kids are naturally curious about anything and everything, especially the water. So yeah, we just have to be more consciously aware that, a constant adult supervision, multiple layers of protection, including door latches, gates. Just make sure everything is latched where I didn't. I just looked closed from a distance. Just the more layers of protection, the better.
That's so important. And again, it's not just teaching a skill, it's literally saving lives.
Yeah.
Which, it doesn't surprise me. And in honor of Mother's Day, everyone, yes, I am wearing my pajamas because on Mother's Day, well, most days, but especially on Mother's Day, we do what we want. We are grown adult women. We do what we want.
Right. We've earned that right.
Sometimes and yes, I am the parent who has driven my child to the bus stop in pajamas with absolute no shame. Because sometimes it's just getting through the day. Well, you're inspiring for a lot of reasons. And I think one of the things that I love so much, especially when we talked the first time, is just your candor and how authentic you are and how you share such important moments in your life when you made critical decisions. And I think that changed the trajectory of your life, and of course your children and other children, and the broad breadth of work you've done. But I think right now a message that will resonate is life feels really hard for everybody. And I think what you've done is said, let's learn from the hard and let's make it better. And everything you've done, like, for example, and one of the things that you're deeply passionate about, and I think is absolutely beautiful, is the way you've raised your children and, your passion and support of single parents and removing shame and stigma, but creating a community of support, of which there should be, because parenting comes in all shapes and sizes, and we're all just trying to get through. I say all the time, I was a much better parent until I actually had children and had to make real decisions.
Right. Were we all? Absolutely.
You shared with me a quote that I think is really, really powerful, and I'd like to read it and then ask you a question about this. And it says, to raise a child who is comfortable enough to leave you means you've done your job. They are not ours to keep, but to teach how to soar on their own. And what could be better on Mother's Day on See Her Soar? So talking about another one of the issues that you are deeply passionate about is, what does it mean to be a successful single parent? And for single parents who may be struggling, what advice do you have for them?
Well, like I said earlier, I was a single parent at the young age of 26, divorced with 3 kids, age 1, 2, and 5, dropped out of college, no college degree. I had done 2 years of school, and then I decided that, it was between feeding my children or getting an education. It literally became that point. I decided to get a divorce because I strongly believe that broken homes come in all different sizes, shapes and sizes and looks and forms. And yes, oftentimes we think we don't want to get a divorce or separate or break the family, or, I didn't want my kids to be looked at or shamed, or myself shamed for that stigma that we have, that children who come from broken homes are just automatically doomed, pretty much. They're drug addicts, they have, they're juvenile delinquents or whatnot. There's that stigma out there. And before I decided that was the route that I was going to become was single parent, I visited with a child psychologist, and I'm like, is it true? I mean, if I get a divorce, will my kids, I mean, are they doomed? Is that just how it is? Is that the way it is? Because that's what we hear about. And she was like, absolutely not. She said, there is such thing as positive. There is such thing as successful single parents who are raised by one, successful children who are raised by one parent. We just don't hear about it as much or ever, hardly. And I was like, there is? It's true. Well, tell me more. How is this possible? And she said, well, children from single parent home, they can be just as successful as children from two parent homes. And just because they have two parents doesn't mean the home is a healthy, emotionally stable place for children to thrive on. Because children from single parent homes need more structure, and more structure was the best thing. And she said, do what's best for me, put myself in a position where I'm better off, and then my children will feed off of that. So she said, if I was going to be better off, not married to this person, then my children would thrive when I'm in a better place. I had to take care of me first. And I just took that to heart and went with it. And I was like, okay, well, if they're—
Kari, say that again, because women need to hear that. You had to take care of you first.
I was told that I had to put myself in a position where my needs were met, where I was happy. I did what I need to do, where I was going to thrive and be in the best place I could possibly be. And that's how my children were going to thrive. So I had to make decisions that were best for me, and then my children would feed off of that.
Amen. And I think that is so important, because whatever the decision is, whether it's relocating for a career and, I don't want to uproot my children, or, ending a relationship that's no longer healthy, or whatever the case may be, when we look at it the way you phrased it, number one, we can't pour from an empty cup. And number two, we should model what we would want for our children. That if the shoe was reversed and they said, "Mom, what do I do?" We know exactly what we would tell them. So we have to give ourselves permission to tell ourselves, which is probably why you're such an inspiring speaker, which is important to know, because of course, Kari, just like a lot of our women, no, she does not do just one thing. She is an entrepreneur. She's an expert in drowning prevention, which is so needed. She provides a school where you can protect your children. And she tells her story as a professional speaker, talking and inspiring women, whether you're a single parent or not, just reminding women of our singular capacity. And I think that is so powerful. What could be more powerful on Mother's Day? And Kari's incredibly generous. Would you be so kind as to talk about what happened on Mother's Day of 2014 and how that added yet another chapter to your story?
So moving a little fast forward. So I went to training and became a drowning prevention specialist, teaching self-rescue swimming skills to infants and young children. I did that from 2000 to 2013, which I still do actually till this day. But something happened in 2014. There were 4 children in Tampa Bay area who drowned on Mother's Day weekend. So this particular weekend in 2014, 4 children lost their lives to drowning. Hillsborough County, there were 2 in Polk County, and I believe the other one may have been in Pasco County. I heard that, and it was hard for me to celebrate Mother's Day that day. It was, especially being that the little boy in he was actually Riverview, and I teach and live and work in Riverview, was literally like a mile down the road from where I live, where I teach. And I was like, I'm failing as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as a drowning prevention advocate. This cannot happen. This is not okay. We have a problem. Society, the community, we need to do more, and something has to be done. Something has to be done differently. And that's when I decided, well, I'm going to start a nonprofit. And then I was like, I can't start a nonprofit. I don't even have a business degree. I don't have the fancy college degree. I'm like, well, I can order books and I can read and I'm going to learn how to do it. But I just knew that more had to be done. So I started self-teaching, learning how to start a nonprofit, fundraising, grant writing. I spent that entire summer, literally just my dining room table was deep in books and material and literature. And I figured I'm going to do this. So I did it. And that's it.
That seems to be a constant theme in your life, Kari, that when you vision something, everybody just better step aside because sister's going to close that loop.
I'm like, I'm not going to, I had that lack of confidence all my years till this day. It still comes out in me that I don't have a college degree. I'm not good enough or I'm not capable, but I can still learn, and I was like, that's ridiculous way of thinking. But I still, sometimes I kind of have to remind myself, hey, I can still learn without a degree. I can still do things. I'm still competent. I just have to have a will and a desire and passion. And that in itself, I think, speaks louder than any college degree. So I founded my nonprofit and it was officially formed in end of 2014, that fall of Mother's Day weekend. Since then, we have raised over $70,000 that we have awarded to financially underprivileged children in the Tampa Bay area to receive specialized one-on-one self-rescue swimming lessons. And I just get chills when my initial thought was, okay, if we can get a couple of $1,000s here and there, help a few kids here and there that financially can't afford to pay for one-on-one survival swimming lessons, then I feel that my mission was I would feel good. That was it. That was a little, saving one child, not 1,000 kids. So at least we've done one child at a time. So, but yeah, we've done hundreds of children. We've awarded scholarships for hundreds of children. We've developed a preschool curriculum where we go into preschools and educate them on a very fun interactive water safety program that we do. And it's been 6 years now, and I'm very proud of that accomplishment as well.
You absolutely should be. I just love that you see a problem and solve a problem.
Yeah.
And where somebody might see a negative, you find the light. And I think that's really, I think it's one of the reasons why you're such an inspiring speaker. It's probably one of the reasons why you're such an exceptional teacher. Because probably most of your teaching is teaching parents to trust
Absolutely, yes. Trust the process. Yep.
Yes.
It's providing educate. I tell parents this is an education for your child to have the skills he needs to save himself in the event he fell into a pool or body of water. But there's just so much more about that. I mean, we educate the family. We educate the family on just all different aspects of water safety tips. Different postures of swimming and what to do, what not to do, to always designate a water watcher around pool gatherings. Too often that there's birthdays or Mother's Day weekends and people are out and socializing and there's the pool and you just assume that everybody's watching or somebody's watching the child because there are so many people out there. But the more drownings occur when there are more than one adult present. So we highly recommend that parents designate as water watcher during pool gatherings and events where one person is wearing a water watcher tag, where their only responsibility is to keep their eyes on the pool. They cannot go eat, play on their phone, talk, socialize, mingle, and maybe change that designation to another person every 20 or 30 minutes. So this way everybody has an opportunity, one, to be responsible, to take responsibility for the water and the children, but also to enjoy the event and mingle as well. So absolutely designate a water watcher when you have at your next gathering, especially this weekend with Mother's Day coming around.
Yes. And again, if somebody wants to donate to your nonprofit, how do they do that?
They can go to our website, watersmarttots.org. This year so far, the need has been greater than ever. We have already reached our maximum allocated budget of $30,000. So we are very close to closing our application unless we get more funding for this year. And I believe that will happen. So I'm confident it will. Our support of over $70,000 we're privately funded. So the community has been so generous. Business owners, just individual people, just making the donations and supporting the cause and our fundraising events. We were limited last year because of COVID, like everybody else was affected. So we were kind of affected with that as well. But we also, to help kind of that, we received the Super Bowl Legacy Grant, the Tampa Bay Super Bowl Legacy Grant, that really kind of helped us recover from our COVID loss. So we're truly grateful for the Tampa Bay Super Bowl 55, that they saw an important need in the community and supported our mission and gave us a very generous grant of $10,000. So that has definitely helped, again, with our COVID loss.
Well, I think a wonderful way for people to honor their mothers or people that have mothered them would be to go to whatersmarttots.org and make a gift of any size. Because again, you don't want to turn anyone away. And now is people, but you also have to feed yourself and your family. So let's all work with Kari to make sure that all our kids survive summer, and also, I mean, all the time, but also make it more joyous. And it is while of course there's always going to be somebody paying attention, as you said, I have to tell you, once my kids were strong swimmers, life became much more pleasant once again around water, because your heart isn't constantly up here. Like, are they okay? How are they doing? And so it's very freeing and empowering, and no one should be denied that.
I would like to add,
yes,
I would like to add, if I may, with the nonprofit, we have partnered with 15 instructors throughout the Tampa Bay area, in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Sarasota, Bradenton, Manatee, and Pasco County, to provide these instructors specialize in the self-rescue methodology. So we can provide scholarships to families in need anywhere throughout the Tampa Bay area, not just my location in Riverview.
Why am I not surprised that you thought of that as well? Kari, you are so many things and inspirational on so many levels, but I know you're still very young, and or just look really hot. But
it's still early.
We're all purified from the COVID cave. But in all seriousness, my dear friends know that I am a avid watcher of The West Wing, and it is my form of therapy. And when they're visioning and thinking about where they're headed, they always say, "What's next?" So my question for you is, what's next?
Wow, I have a few things that are in the oven, so to speak. Two different things. One is definitely I want to expand the instructor training and development in the Tampa Bay area. We actually, believe it or not, we have a shortage of instructors who specialize in the self-rescue methodology. So I'm looking to expand the instructors so we can support more children. So I'm going to move on more into the instructor training and development, but also extremely passionate on all aspects of supporting single parents, inspiring single parents. I think it just took one person to tell me that, I could do it, to believe in me. And it just sparked a fire that just won't stop. So I want to do the same for others as what has been done to me. And I'm looking to kind of maybe start another nonprofit that supports single parents. So that might be a little bit.
I'm not surprised. Kari, you literally embody what I believe is the most important part of not just See Her Soar, but the way women are strongest together. And that I believe that metaphorically, God gave us two arms, one to climb and one to reach back. And that is what you've done. It sounds like every day of your life. And you said, "Oh, I may not have a college degree, but I think you have far more knowledge than many people with a doctorate." So
I appreciate that.
I listen, I have a college degree, and I could not teach my children what you can teach children. So I think
Thank you.
that celebrating those gifts. So again, make a gift in someone's name to the nonprofit. I will post that information. If you have not signed up your child, if you're not confident in your child's skills, make sure you contact Kari and get them assessed. Find out, because my girl's in demand, y'all. So if you want the best, you better get on the stick, or one of the instructors that she can refer you to, because not all are created equal.
Exactly. Not all swim methodologies are created equal. They can find an instructor. If they don't need the scholarship, they can still find an instructor that teaches in the same methodology on the website, watersmarttots.org. And if you just go to swim schools, those instructors who specialize in self-rescue methodology are there, and they can just contact the instructors directly if they qualify for some sort of government assistance, such as food stamps or Medicaid. They can apply for a scholarship and receive a 90%. It's basically covers 90% of the costs for one-on-one self-rescue swim lessons.
That's amazing. And it sounds like you're creating career opportunities. So perhaps if this is sparking a passion, let Kari be your mentor, and she will tell you how you too can help build a business and live a life beyond your dreams, because it seems like you've chosen to live a life without limits. And so keep soaring, sister. That's all I can say. And what a beautiful and inspiring message for this Mother's Day. So
thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. And you as well.
And let's continue to grow this nonprofit. Let's continue to save lives.
Yes, absolutely.
And let's continue to support all families.
Absolutely.
There's no such thing as one size fits all. It's one size that's right for you. So let's love more and take care of each other, and have a wonderful Mother's Day. And these pajamas will probably be on until I go to bed tonight. So
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
All right. Well, thank you, Kari. And thank you all for supporting incredible women. Take care and happy Mother's Day.
Happy